bar and down.
What a shot!
All right, guys, we now welcome on. Don't really know how to explain it, so we'll just go with the most probably interesting fucking hockey player in the world, Chucky Slick, man. What's going on?
What's up, boys? How you doing?
Good to have you on, man. Crazy story. We've been following you for a while. We know a lot of the same guys, played with a lot of the same guys, so we'll get into all of that. But how you holding up? How you doing? Because you're in Spain right now, yeah?
Yep, out here in Spain, just kind of just chilling it, just got out of quarantine a little bit, a little taste of freedom. Freedom never tasted so sweet, to be honest.
I heard that. Yeah, you were just saying you can go get beers with the boys, but you can't hang out on the beach with your surfboards next to you. So I guess they got a little bit different rules over there.
Yeah, we pretty much been locked inside for like 2 fucking months. You could only leave once a day to go to the grocery store. And just finally this past week, we're allowed to like go out and exercise and stuff, but we can't like exercise with friends or do sports.
Well, I've been following you on Instagram. You're trying to like walk your fake dog out and shit like that.
Yeah, I was desperate to get out of the house at one point, and they like said, if you're not getting groceries, you can't leave your house, period. But if you have a dog, you can walk it. But I didn't have a fucking dog, so I had to come up with a solution. So I made a dog on a rolled up rug on a skateboard.
And do what you got to do.
Yep. So let's get into some hockey. I mean, let's get your story told. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have been following you for a long time, like we have, and I think end goal here is get you on Spit and Chicklets, man. So as much shit as we can get out to get their attention, the best we can do. Let's do that. So we were talking a little bit beforehand. Let's start from the beginning. I believe you said you started in San Diego, but your dad got a job in DC. You came to DC, kind of just roller skated and played some street hockey right up above Mexico, and then take us through up until you got to DC.
Yeah, I just kind of grew up playing in the streets with my brothers in San Diego, like little concrete slab, no boards, no nets, just like little fence pieces for nets, and just like OG, like Mighty Duck shit. And then there was like some little house league on like a tennis court kind of thing we played on for like a couple seasons. And then one day my dad was just like, all right, boys, we're moving to Virginia. And we were saying, what the fuck is that? Like being like from San Diego, that's like the other side of the world. We don't, as kids at 10 years old, you maybe heard of New York or something over there. You never heard of Virginia. Yeah. So we like went out there and just kind of joined, local hockey leagues because we liked hockey, but it wasn't the hockey that we knew. It was like ice hockey. So we joined the Ashburn Xtreme, and through that, we started like finding a lot of good players in the Xtreme that were like, yo, let's start a roller hockey club. So like my father and a couple of the other fathers from the Ashburn Xtreme formed the Mad Dogs. And we had like teams in all the age groups and stuff. So I was playing for the Xtreme and the Mad Dogs out there in Virginia.
Yeah, Xtreme's still like one of the best fucking ice programs in the country. And then Mad Dogs were the shit back in the day.
Oh, yeah. First of all, I've heard nothing but really good things about the Xtreme organization. Apparently, they've kept it very solid through all these years. I mean, when I was there, we were the shit. Like, we won CBHL like every year. We went to Southeast Districts one year. One year in 2007, we went to Southeast Districts, and we fucking won against like Atlanta Fire or something. And we were going to nationals in Buffalo. And that was like a big deal for like a AA ice club from Virginia to win Southeastern districts and be going to natties. And all of our parents supposedly had like round trip tickets booked home from Buffalo, like after round robin play, because they're like, not a fucking chance these guys are going to playoffs at natties. And we pulled up to natties. We all shaved our heads skinhead. Like the last practice before we flew to natties, we wanted to do team haircuts. I don't know why we went with skinhead.
Yeah,
but we were the Virginia team, and we were all like,
right.
We were heavy into plaid jackets at this time. I'm not sure why, it was just the style. Bunch of Virginia boys in plaid jackets and Timberlands, skinhead cuts, pull up to Buffalo like we're here, and everyone's like, who the fuck are these guys? And yeah, that was just a great tourney. We ended up going all the way to semifinals, and we lost to the California Stars in the semis, who ended up winning it all that year. But yeah, really good times with the Xtreme, and some of my best buddies from those times as well. And then obviously the Mad Dogs, like is pretty much the Xtreme guys on rollerblades.
Yeah.
So we were pretty
'Cause
sick.
you guys did like a Mad Dog reunion tournament just a couple months ago, or like last summer. Didn't you? With
Yeah,
like
we
Gross
did.
and
We did like a
Bono and all them.
yeah, Grossy, Bunnell, one of the Claire Copper boys. I don't remember. There's a bunch of fools there, but yeah, it was cool to see all the boys after so long. Like 10 years had been.
Yeah, I think you guys won that shit from what I saw. But so
Yeah,
after that,
yeah.
when'd you go?
We won the short division.
Yeah, yeah, you win. Fuck it, who cares? So
Yeah,
when'd you
yeah.
go back to San Diego from Virginia?
When?
Yeah, like how long were you in DC until you went back to like San Diego to live out there and just?
So yeah, we arrived in Nova, Northern Virginia, like 2000 and 2000, yeah.
2000.
2000 and 1000. We arrived 2000. I think yeah, because I remember we were there for the whole like Pentagon 9/11 thing. So yeah, around 2000 I think, and then we left 2008, the summer of 2008. So I was there 8 years, which was like pretty pivotal years because it was like 10 through or maybe 9 through 17, which is like a lot of changing
Yeah.
years, like being a kid and then like puberty and then like teenager and high school. So like a lot of like important life moments for me happened in Virginia, like my first real friendships and all that. So like I really cherish Virginia a lot. And then when I was like 17, my dad lost his job and we moved back to San Diego.
There it is.
Real quick, before we get back into San Diego, did you get to play Virginia high school hockey, or did you not?
Oh yeah, man, we started a culture out there. I was going to Briar Woods High School.
Okay.
And we had just started. It was a brand new high school. I just happened to live in that area, and the hockey team had just started, and I was like a freshman. And it's like Northern Virginia high school hockey. It's not relatively like known, or
Right.
it doesn't have a reputation for being like the sickest hockey in the world.
Right.
But it's all right. At least it was when I was there. But if you're a travel hockey player in Northern Virginia, like if any kind of travel hockey, whether it's AA or single A, in the high school league, you're going to be like somewhat of a star player, I guess.
Yep.
And Briar Woods at that time, I think we had like 7 players that played for Xtreme for like 90s, 91s, 92s, 93s. And so did Broad Run and Stonebridge and all those teams. And I remember like no one came to the games. And then like one day there was like 10 football players there. And they saw us like just rocking fools, like dropping mitts, laying hits, scored like 13 goals. And they started like telling people at the school, like, yo, hockey's lit. And then like the next game, like I felt like 50 or 100 people were there. And we were like, what the fuck? And because the people were there, we decided to like go really hard for them. And we put on a fat show, like made some of the dirtiest hits ever. Kind of feel bad about it, but it is what it is. I mean, we were definitely like drinking in the parking lot before the games. I remember putting on my skate guards before every game, like in all my equipment, and running out the back Zamboni door, sitting in the back seat of cars to smoke blunts and swig 40s before I'd go out for warmies.
I mean, it's high school hockey, and then you go for fucking 4 and 5,
just some high school Virginia shit. Like that was just so Virginia. Like we do that, and we would just go out there and just like have the best time ever, and the fans loved it. And pretty soon, like the whole school was showing up to the games, and whenever it was like B Woods versus Broad Run, like their whole school would show up, and there'd be fat fights in the stands. And I remember the fights would carry out to the parking lots. And the one time the fights carried out, the police came to Ashburn Ice House, so everyone drove to the McDonald's Taco Bell parking lot in Broadlands. And like the whole schools were there, man. There was like 500 heads in that parking lot ready to throw down over a fucking hockey game.
I love it. Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I mean, still, you got like a lot of the schools will like getting brawls around here and for like high school hockey and shit. They get like hell of students now, and it's fucking nuts, man. It's a lot bigger than it was. Like pretty big now, but yeah, you can still get in some brawls with certain schools up here, like when the prep schools.
It's mainly just the private schools. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not much of the public schools are doing that, but yeah, the private schools they're starting to pack house a little bit.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool to see the game grow a bit out there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So you go back to California. Was it straight? Was it right back in the ice hockey, or did you get right back in the roller hockey with that, or just kind of play both?
I didn't do anything. Well, actually, I went to New Hampshire first for prep school.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, that
I
was
played
like Kimball or something like
Kimball
that?
Union. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like a year before my dad lost his job, that year at Nationals in Buffalo, I had spoken to some scouts after the tourney. I had like a pretty good tourney, and then one thing led to another. And next thing I know, it's the first time leaving home to go play hockey. And I went to New Hampshire to play in the whole prep school league, played against like Chris Kreider and some of those fools. Um, and I was there. I repeated my sophomore year because that's what you do in prep school. You're supposed to like
Mm.
repeat a year. So I repeated my sophomore year, and that was cool. And then the next year I came back, and then like 2 months into the school year, I got expelled. And that school year, that summer, so going into my second year in New Hampshire, like that summer, like August, is when my family moved back to San Diego. So I drove the car from Virginia to San Diego because my parents were like, "Yeah, y'all can drive the cars, we'll fly." And I was like, "This is bullshit. I have three younger brothers. I was the only one with a driver's license."
Oh, so you're
Like
fucked
a
that whole
3-day
time.
drive.
Dude,
Yeah, that had to be a wild trip with your brothers.
yeah, it was sick as fuck. I was driving a minivan with two bulldogs, couple brothers, and I was like the only brother with a driver's license. So I was like whipping from Virginia. That shit took 11 days, bro. Like
Jesus Christ.
I know people do it in like 4 days, but like we were just chilling, like just camping and stuff. But arrived to California, and then like I didn't even really experience California. I was there for like a few weeks, and then I went back to New Hampshire for my second year. And then like 2 months in, got expelled, and since my family wasn't living in Virginia anymore, I went back to San Diego to start my new life there, but I didn't play any hockey or go to school for like 2 months. I was like really depressed from getting kicked out of school, and like I felt like I blew a big opportunity, and I was just like pretty down on life. And and I didn't know anybody in San Diego because when I
Right.
left there, I was like 9 years old. So I
Like
didn't
you
like
said
say,
before, you don't really make friends when you're 8. You make
yeah,
friends when you're
exactly.
like a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I came back to San Diego, I kind of just had like no life. I was just like ripping Call of Duty and like starting to experiment with recording music. I was making some rap songs at that time because I had nothing else to do. And then I don't know, I just started like missing hockey. And then my parents were like, you need to enroll in school. So like I enrolled in the local high school. And then I like went on the internet and typed in like San Diego hockey, and I found out they had a junior team called the Goals that played in the Western States Hockey League. And it was already like halfway through the season. I didn't really expect much, but I just like fired an email off, and I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to play." And they invited me out for practice, and then after like 10 minutes, they were like, "Yeah, you're on the team." And then I was just like that. I was playing junior hockey in San Diego for like 20 games or something.
Yeah, it looks like you had 15 games and then 9-9 for 18 points. So yeah, I guess it's probably pretty good they picked you up.
Yeah, it's not like a super good league. It's really goony. It's a hella goony
Right.
league. The Super Dub. Shout out to Western States Hockey
Right.
League.
So when you started messing with like the rap music and stuff, is that kind of when you thought like, hey, is that kind of when you got the idea of making this whole like Chucky Slick persona online and like YouTube and on social media? Because I feel like, I mean, we'll get into it, I guess, now, but I feel like when you went to the Null, that's when you really popped off in terms of like people starting to
Oh
know who
yeah.
you are and shit like that. Especially when I think it was when you were in Corpus Christi, is when people really started to like get an idea of who you were and shit. So does that kind of all go together?
Uh, on the timeline, not really. Like I was putting out like rap mixtapes and albums that if you have them, please send them to me because I don't have shit. Like I don't. That was many computers and many moons ago. But I was like burning CDs and handing them around to my high school out of my backpack for like many years. Um, and I'd probably put out like 3 mixtapes, like at least 30 or 40 songs before I even ever thought about making a hockey song. Um, and then, yeah, at some point when I ended up playing for New Mexico, I decided to make a hockey song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the junior hockey song, right?
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
Dream, and that one's got like 2 million views or some shit on YouTube now.
yeah. It just hit 2 million like a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah. So like we said, like kind of, do you feel like Corpus Christi is just kind of when you popped off on social media and all that stuff? Because that's when you were like getting in fights and just having a hell of a season there, I think. But yeah, do
Yeah,
you feel like is that kind of when everything started to escalate for you, and then you kind of thought maybe I'll keep fucking just grinding this like YouTube and social media and shit out and kind of build a brand around myself?
Yeah, I felt like that
I
was
never really tried to like do that. I was always just playing hockey. You know, after San Diego, I wanted to move up a level, and I started exploring options out there. Ended up in the NA in fucking New Mexico, which was like, you know, as a brand new team in the league, like all the other sick teams, like they already had all the players, and like pretty much all the pretty girls were taken for the dance. And then there was New Mexico. That was just kind of like, we'll take anyone. And so I kind of showed up there, and it just turned out to be like, you know, just a bunch of guys who were like rejected from other teams, which turned out to be like the greatest guys, you know, like that's usually how it works.
Kind of
You
bonded
know,
around that.
there wasn't a lot of like superstar aura around the locker room, like just a bunch of beauties. And yeah, I just kind of showed up there, and that's when I started like really making a lot of music in my closet. And I did that for like the first year in New Mexico. And we were someone just got shot or something. I don't know.
I heard that. I was like,
And
what the fuck is going on there?
yeah, fuck. But yeah, we were like dead last in the league, and but I loved those guys so much, so I came back the next year. The second year in New Mexico is when I recorded "Living the Dream," and I don't know. I just kind of was like, oh, I should write a song about hockey. And I remember like being on like a really long, like 12-hour road trip, and found the right beat, and just kind of like started writing a song on the bus. And then I just kind of wrote it in a few nights, and then started playing it in the locker room for the boys, and they were like, oh, this song's fucking sick, we should like make a video. And so we like got this little dinky video camera. I just made this sick homemade video, threw it out there in like April, so like towards the end of the season. But that shit pretty much happened overnight. I don't think it became like a huge like international thing like in the hockey. It didn't blow up entirely in the hockey community till like probably my Corpus Christi year. You're right. But immediately, like, I was seeing crazy shit. Like, I woke up the next morning, there's like 30,000 views or something, and I was like, what? I remember like telling my guys on my team like I would do like terrible things if it even hit like 1,000 views.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like blew up there. And by the end of that season, it was pretty wild. But once it had like that summer to really marinate and kind of go viral and really hit every pocket of the hockey world, that's when I was showing up to Corpus for my final year of juniors. And it was like my last year of juniors, and the timing with that song, by that point, it was like everyone fucking knew. And that was a fucking year. That
Yeah,
was
it went like viral before going viral was a thing. It felt like.
yeah, it was, you know, like I didn't like have intentions for it to, you know, I was just making a fucking
Just
song.
wanted to make a banger for the boys, yeah.
And then we'd like, oh, let's do a video. I was like, all right, and put it on YouTube. Didn't even like, I didn't even have an Instagram or any of this shit at this point. I had a YouTube channel, but like, I wasn't doing YouTube to be like a YouTuber or make money. I was just throwing like videos up there just to watch them. And threw that one on YouTube and didn't really expect much. I don't know, just like, there was no intentions other than like putting out a fucking hockey song for the boys. And yeah, it just kind of happened like that.
Yeah, so kind of take us through that Corpus Christi. I mean, you said it was a wild year. You kind of get there and you've kind of already popped off a bit. Your last year there in the Null, and like we said, that's kind of the year you popped off on everything. It seemed like the Chucky Slick. There he is. He's the guy. Like at least in the hockey community, that was starting to go around. So I mean, what was the craziest shit that went on that season? I mean, I believe, like I said, you were fighting a good bit in that league, and just take us through Corpus Christi.
League, the division of the NA South was pretty famous for like many years, called like the Black and Blue division. It was just, if you looked at the stats compared to other divisions in the Null, like other divisions would have like 20 fights the whole season. We would have like 100. Like we were averaging 4 or 5 fights a game. It was not abnormal. Like at least once a week, someone like I had so many fucking stitches in my face from 3 seasons in that division. Like probably like 100 stitches. Like just 6 zips, 10 zips, 10 zips, 8 zips. You know, just like it was a fucking really violent league. Because I don't know why, basically this NA South was a bunch of former CHL professional teams that folded, and junior clubs took over, and the fan base like didn't really know the difference between junior hockey and pro. So the fans all still showed up to the fucking games and were playing in front of like packed, wild Southern people like houses, and they would get rowdy, and I think it just encouraged like a lot of like dirty play. But yeah, just like pulling up to Corpus Christi that year was, and they got some of the most fans in the league,
I was
which
about
is
to
pretty
say, from
wild.
some of those older videos, looks like their barn was fucking packed half the time.
Oh, dude, on like sold out nights, it was 7,000 fans.
And
It was,
that'll get you juiced up to get a couple stitches.
oh fuck yeah! But even on like a dead night, we still had 3,000 like in the lower bowl. Like we played in a fucking arena. As a bunch of 20-year-olds, like it juiced us up, and just showing up that year with all the hype from that song was kind of, it was like the perfect storm for having like just an insanely crazy year. But it was like really good and really bad. Like, it was weird. It's like showing up in the locker room to meet all the guys that I had just spent the past 2 years like hating them, like we were
Right.
enemies. And then other new guys on the team, and then they all obviously seen the fucking video, so it's just like, oh yeah, what's up, guys? And there's like, oh, this fucking guy, like, what's this guy about, like, and just it was a great, really fucking great group of guys, and it was weird for like a week once they got it out of their system, like, okay, you're the guy that made that song. And I was like trying to get the message across, like, I don't want to be looked at like that guy. I'm here to fucking win a championship. I'm here to block shots. I'm here to, ride for the boys.
But if I get the
Yes.
aux in the locker room, we're gonna play the banger.
Nah, never did it. Never did it
Really?
once.
Never played it?
That was my rule. That was my rule. Because I didn't want to be seen as different,
Right.
man. Like,
I feel you.
Right.
it was, I never felt that in my life. Obviously, and I never expected for all that shit to happen, never planned it, and honestly, I never really liked the limelight or being the center of attention, and all of it happened, and I had to welcome it because I had no choice. And it was like hard trying to like get the point across, like, yo, I don't think I'm better than you guys. I don't think I'm someone, like, I'm a fucking hockey teammate on your team, and I'm here for that, and that only I did that. That's something I did. It happened. Like, don't look at me any fucking differently. I don't want that. Don't play the song in the locker room. Don't make me feel weird. Like, just putting me on Snapchat all the time. Like, yo,
Right.
or whatever. Like, I just want to be one of the boys. I made that
Uh-huh.
very clear. Like, I had a kind of like I sat down with the boys, like, first day in the locker room and kind of said something about that, I think.
Yeah, like a players meeting type thing. You're just like,
Yeah, and yeah, they respected it. And it wasn't until the very end of the season, after we had all played our last junior game, the age outs, they're like, all right, boys, it's time. And they played the song, and that was pretty cool.
nice.
Hell yeah.
Did anybody on the ice, like from the other team, ever bring it up to you, like on the
Every
ice?
game. Every
Nervy
game.
about it?
Yeah.
Every fucking game,
That's what I thought.
face-offs. From the fucking very first face-off of the season in Minnesota, I was just like, people would just roll up and be like, Chucky Slick. And I was just like,
Did they ever chirp you like, yo, your fucking bars are weak, boy?
they wouldn't chirp the bars, but like they would just, yeah. I was like unnecessarily chirped a lot that year, just commenting on whatever equipment or hair or
Right.
like people were definitely trying to like hit me. Like I was kind of like a target. Like
Target, yeah.
yeah, dude, I got fucking yard saled and separated my shoulder in Minnesota. Like people were just going after me because like
You want to be that guy? It's Chucky
they wanted to be
Slick.
that guy that has a video laying me out. So that part kind of sucked, but everything else was pretty smooth that year. Like
Right.
just final year of juniors, a lot of good times with the boys.
Hell yeah. So after that, it seems like kind of the ice career kind of started to go towards an end. I mean, I believe you went to Sweden after that. Did like 2
Yeah.
years or did like a year in Czech.
Yeah, I think you did a couple years with ice hockey.
Yeah, so after that final year of juniors, obviously, like there's the whole college thing you can explore. And I didn't have any like Division I scholarship rides. I had gotten like maybe 2 calls that season from Division I programs that were like, hey, like we're fucking watching you or whatever. Like keep it up or something like that. Like we hope you have a good year, but nothing special. As most guys in the NA, they end up playing D3. But like first line guys in all NA teams back in the day would go to D1. I was always a third liner. So I was speaking to a couple of D3 schools that like for sure wanted me to come there. But the problem with D3 is, man, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's no schollies for D3 that I'm aware of. So it's like you got to pay whatever the school's tuition is, like 30 grand a year. Like I'm not paying that. My parents ain't going to pay that. I mean, they probably would if I really wanted to go. But I hated school so much. Like because of juniors and moving around all the time, I went to like 4 different high schools in 4 different states. I just hated school. Like I never had friends at school. And the thought of like going back to school, I hated. The thought of my parents like breaking their bank account just for me to go to school like sounded fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, one of my younger brothers, it was like his dream to play college hockey. So I was like, if I go to this college, like I don't think my parents would be able to ever afford for both of us. So like I can't do this because I don't even really want to go. And then I wasn't really sure like what I was going to do, if I was going to like hang him up and like start taking music really seriously. And then one day I just got a phone call from my old assistant coach in New Mexico. And he was like, yo, I'm not a coach anymore. I'm actually a player agent for European, North American players. I place players in Europe. I place Europeans in America. Would you be interested in playing in Europe? And I was like, what do you mean? You know, I didn't know anything about it. And he was like, you know, like professionally for money or whatever. And, you know, I was like, where? And, you know, Sweden. And I was like, all right, you know, like, you know, it's a lot. So like just kind of
Pack up and move.
Just
yeah.
move all the way across the world.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, as a 21-year-old kid, it's like pretty weird, like trying to make that commitment. But I didn't have any other choice. It was like, I'm either done with hockey or I take this. So I just said, fuck it. Sent it, went to Sweden, and, you know, turned out being like the best time ever. And I was just kind of like, oh, this is great. And I wanted to stay there for like 10 years, man. I really loved it in Sweden. I got invited back for the second year. And then sometime over summer, coach stepped down. They had a new coach from Finland. He brought in a bunch of his Finnish players. There's an import rule. So like me and all the foreign guys kind of got the boot. And then I just kind of scrambled.
Yes. So after that, so was it like right after Sweden? Is that when you came right back? Because it looks like you played, what, 3 games in Knoxville or something?
Yeah.
Like just get your toes wet real quick and then fucking
I had a little dilly in the SP. 3 games doesn't look like a lot, but I actually played like 8 exhibition games.
Right.
And then I was there for open camp and main camp. I was in Knoxville for like, it felt like almost 3 months. So like I had all my eggs in the Swedish basket. And then August rolled around. I get a phone call saying, hey, coach is having a kid. He's stepping down. We hired a new coach. All foreign players are out. And it was like fucking August. And I was like, are you serious? Like, okay, whatever. Like I've been here before, back against the wall. It's not a big deal. I'll find some shit. And I was like, all right, well, Europe's done because in Europe, things start in August.
Mm-hmm.
End of August is training camp in Europe, or mid-August. So I tried to get on another squad in Europe. They're like, we're already started. And I was like, fucking hell. And in America, you know, pro doesn't start till like September. So I just started going to like internet and like looking up free agent camps. And I saw Knoxville Ice Bears were having a free agent camp in Tennessee. And I was like,
fuck it.
Let's just see where this whole hockey career thing can fucking take me. This is starting to spin out of control, but I'm starting to like the idea of just at this point, after living abroad 1 year, I was like, this could be interesting one day. So let's see where it goes. Fuck it. Why not? Because Sweden turned out to be amazing by me just saying, fuck it, why not? So I was like, all right, let's go. So I go to free agent camp, which is an absolute joke. It's a moneymaker for those clubs. A bunch of fucking jabronis show up and, you know, there's a couple good players that can actually play that are at these camps. So, you know, a couple hundred guys show up, they take all their fucking money, and then they only invite, you know, a few players to main camp. In Knoxville, they took 2 players. They took 1 defenseman, 1 forward. They took me and this other defenseman guy. And when we were all waiting in line for the fucking player interviews, like to be like, hey, you're in or you're out, I was the last fucking one they called into the office, the very last guy. And I was like, all right, I already knew waiting in line. I was like, I fucking ripped that camp up. Like, these guys were dust. Like, there was guys that couldn't skate. I was like, there's no way I'm not on this team or not getting invited to main camp. I'm the last player to get called after like 3 hours waiting in line. And I kid you not, I walk into the coach's office like a movie. He has like the swiveling chair with his back face to the door.
Oh my God.
And right when I open the door, I just see his office chair swivel around towards me, and coming out of the speakers is, I'm just living the dream with the boys on my team.
No way.
Fuck.
I was just like, no fucking way. And he was just like, Chucky Slick, what up, my man? And I was like, fucking hell. Like, one thing I've done with every team I've played for after juniors is I try to separate myself from that because I don't want to, like, hurt my chances, you know?
Right.
For any reason. Like, I just don't want to be a distraction. Because at certain points in juniors, it became a distraction. We'd be in the locker room. Motherfuckers would be knocking on our locker room. Hey, is Chuck in there? Like, while the coach is in the middle of his speech. Like, anytime we were walking into rinks before games, people coming up to me and shit. Like, it became a distraction. So I try to, in the pro, especially when money's involved, it's like I would never tell anybody. I would just try to see how long I could make it until someone calls me out and be like, hey, you're that guy.
It wasn't like you were intentionally doing it either. It's just
That coach just sounded like he was trying way too fucking hard.
Yeah.
Just playing it on the background as you're walking in. It's like, dude, settle down here, man. Settle down.
Yeah, well, I understand, like, from the other side, it's just like, he was probably like, what the fuck, that's this guy? Like, somehow he knew or found out, and I was just like, oh, fuck, they know. All right, what's up, man? Obviously, he's going to, like, tell the whole team. So, like, I show up to main camp, and, like, everyone already knew at that point. They're like, yo, yeah, we heard that shit, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, I'm here to play hockey. That's it. You know, I'm trying to make the team. Ended up going to main camp, making the team. Signed a 3-game contract. After the 3-game contract, one day, like, 2 guys from the ECHL show up in the locker room, and I was like, dude, the minors in the States is so fucking cutthroat. Like, the first 5 weeks I lived in a hotel, first of all, and then I moved into player housing, and I had new roommates like every week because guys just get fucking traded, cut. It's so crazy how cutthroat it is.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, just like 2 ECHL guys showing up in the locker room. I was like, oh, what's up, boys? And they're like, what's up? I was like, what position do you guys play? And they're like, we're wingers. And I was like, fuck. Like, what are they doing here? I had just gone 3 games without a goal. In exhibition, I did great. And I just was getting my feet wet. They were there, and I was like, fucking hell. And then after practice, coach called me in the locker room, or in his office. He was like, look, we have to free up roster space to let these coast guys play on the team this weekend. They're going to get called back up after the weekend, and we'll put you back on the roster after that. And I was like, I'm looking for a permanent contract. I'm not trying to be on a 3-game. I'm not trying to be a 5th-line practice player.
All right.
I basically let my pride get in the way. And I was like, I'm going to be like a solid player for you guys this season. But if you're going to take me off the roster, I'm just going to go. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. Like, you're not valuing me, which I was kind of wrong looking back. I just packed my bags and left. And, like, 2 days later, he was like, hey, are you still in Knoxville? I was like, no, I'm gone. He was like, oh, I would have put you back on the team and signed you. And I was like, fuck. And I was already gone. I ended up just I just went home. It was, like, around Christmas time. I just went home for the rest of that year. And then Knoxville won the fucking championship that year.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah, and the beauty that I made it to main camp with from free agent camp, the guy that I lived in a hotel room with for like 5 weeks, shout out Bo Driscoll, he won a championship in the SP, the Robertson Cup.
Yeah.
And I should have stuck with it, but whatever. It was nice to go home for once.
So my sister, she actually goes to Tennessee. She ended up getting this fucking Knoxville Ice Bears fucking hoodie.
Oh yeah, Ice Bears are sick, man. They got a really good thing going down there.
Yeah, they said they pack barn there.
Fuck yeah, they got a fan base. It's like one of those like small kind of big cities, but like they don't have any pro sports. They only have the college. They have the college football team, UT, where Peyton Manning went.
Well, did you get any trouble there running around campus?
What?
I mean, you're pretty much living on campus there. I mean, you get any trouble running around there? I mean, Knoxville, it's not a bad college town in terms of the talent there.
Oh yeah, the lot of talent. We would go to like we had guys that were playing for the team that were like kind of locals or been playing there for many years. They had connections, and like we went to a few like UT parties, a few college
Oh
parties
yeah.
and whatnot. It is an amazing little. And I didn't know anything about Tennessee. It's a great little town, great barbecue, really fun, like country vibes, and they fucking loved the Ice Bears. We were like going to clubs and bars, and the DJ would be like, "Oh, the Ice Bears are here." And then like
Right.
girls would just walk up to you and be like, "Do you play for the Ice Bears?"
Dude,
You just be like, yeah.
that's how. So my one buddy we grew up playing with around here. I don't know if you know him or not. Kirby Kinslow. He was a real good roller hockey player. I think he played Mad Dogs for a year too. But he went to Tennessee, and he's like, "Fuck it, dude! Like I didn't come here to play hockey. I came to like go to college." So he just instead of joining the ice team, he just joined the roller hockey team, and all the kids were just fucking bums. Literally, just took him to a national championship, just scoring like 10 goals a game. Just fucking.
Wow.
But so you probably didn't know it at the time. But would you say that when you just kind of said "fuck it" and went to Knoxville, was that kind of the start of kind of where you are now in terms of traveling the world, playing in the league?
Man, I don't really know where that mentality could be traced back to. Man, I could trace it all the way back to, I mean, even as a kid, before I moved to Virginia, my parents moved around San Diego like 4 times before I was 10 years old. And in Virginia, I lived in Winchester, I lived in Sterling, I lived in Ashburn. I was a very nomadic family before I even left for hockey. I had already lived in 6 different cities by the time I was like 10 years old and gone to so many different schools, and then going to prep school and then playing juniors on a different team in a different state every fucking year. Before I even reached professional level, I'd already lived in like fucking 4 or 5 different states, and moving around ended up not being a problem for me. It just became like part of who I am. I never had a problem adapting. I kind of learned how to be like a chameleon, bro. Like
I feel you.
I could just slither into any environment and do fine. And my mom's side of the family, like all the dudes are like bikers, you know, like biker gang dudes. And the women all kind of like, you know, they're kind of like drifters and very like free spirited. So I think I get that from them, and I've never had a problem, and I've really enjoyed kind of life on the wild side or whatever you want to call it, like just kind of moving around and constantly changing your world up to keep things exciting. So I think I've always had that in me and haven't really had a problem living like that. But yeah, I guess I'd say things didn't really kick off for me. Yeah, they probably kicked off for me right around Sweden, Knoxville time. Like, you know, obviously after doing, like moving around the United States is one thing, but once you like introduce a foreign culture to the mix, it really puts things into perspective. And once I arrived to Sweden and experienced that, I think I came home that year and, you know, I was just like, damn, that was awesome. And while I was in Knoxville, I remember thinking like, okay, next year I'm going back to Europe, because more or less some kind of fire got ignited like in my soul that was just like, I want to get out there and see the world. And that was always one of my dreams as well. I was like traveling and getting out there. And I didn't realize how, I think I found a tweet from like 2013 or 12 or 10. I was like, I'm going to travel everywhere one day. Just watch. And like I was trying to manifest it with a tweet. And I looked back on that and I was like, holy shit, that came true. I never knew how I was going to do it at that time. But I think once I got that call to go play in Sweden, and I realized like, oh, I never knew I could make money playing hockey.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I mean, like you know, like as a California kid, I didn't really know much about how the business world of hockey works, and I didn't come from like a crazy hockey family that knew how to place me in the right situations to play for the Washington Little Caps. And then once I turned 16,
Right.
they would send me to go play in the OHL. You know, like I didn't know the proper routes. Like I was just a California roller kid, so I thought the NHL was like the only way. It was like NHL or bust. And then once I realized, like, you know, I'm probably not going to the show. Once I realized you could like play pro in like Europe and stuff and make a living off of it, not like a living like, but like, you know, keep your fridge full and go out on the weekends
Yeah.
always.
Make
You know,
enough to keep yourself above water.
yeah. My fridge is full. I got chocolate, bottles of wine. I go out on the weekends, and when I come home for the off season for 2 or 3 months in the summer, I don't have to work.
Yeah.
But I'm out here like fucking buying anything. Like I'm still living like a very simple life. So yeah, at some point around Sweden and Knoxville is when that whole like just I don't know travel fire was ignited in me, and I kind of just had no hesitation sending it to the Czech Republic.
Yeah, and then that Czech year was your last year of ice, right?
Yeah, it was. That was my last year
Yeah.
of ice
So
hockey.
why the switch to, I guess, full-time roller? Like instead of, I mean, was it tough? I'm assuming it's tougher to switch from league to league and ice around the world in terms of roller, because I feel like there's a lot more roller leagues just kind of everywhere. Is that kind of why you did it?
There's a lot more roller leagues.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't on a worldwide scale. You would obviously know a lot better than we would, but I'm wondering like why the switch to roller in terms of like going from league to league instead of like trying to stick with ice.
Yeah, well, there's way more ice hockey leagues in the world. First of all,
Gotcha.
in America, obviously we know about the NHL, and most American hockey people know about the Swedish Elite League, the KHL in Russia, and you guys are probably aware. You know, there's the Finnish league and there's the Czech Extraliga. They call it the top league in Czech. Every fucking country in Europe has their NHL, has their top league. And a lot of these fucking leagues are nasty, and people have no idea, especially in the Czech league, like the Extra League. It's called the Extraliga, the first league in Czech. There's some players in this fucking league that could be like Pasternak in the NHL, but like they don't want to move to America.
Yeah.
They're in their home country, playing in their hometown, it's like literally the best job you can have in the Czech Republic is being a hockey player. Like they're making tons of money. They don't speak English. There's like I don't want to move to like there's a lot of talent in Europe that people will never see because there's a lot of just hometown guys that just stay in Sweden, stay in Finland, stay in Czech. And then all these pro leagues, they have their own versions of AHL, ECHL, SPHL. Every country has that. There's so many fucking leagues out here for ice hockey. For roller hockey, there's just France and Spain and Italy. I think obviously every country plays it. Like they have their little beer leagues for roller, but on a level where it's like an official league where you get paid, it's pretty much just Spain and France. They both have like a top league and like a farm league. But in the farm leagues, you can't really get paid, I don't think.
I think before you made it to Spain for roller hockey, didn't you play on an island near Africa or South Africa or something like that?
Yeah. Well, okay. All right, we'll get to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Czech Republic was just a fucking time. Like that was just a battle. Like just an absolute battle of a hockey season. Like nobody really spoke English. They kind of treated me like a foreigner. Like in Sweden, they welcomed me with open arms. In Czech Republic, it was more like fucking American. How's my audio, by the way?
I'm sure it'll fix itself here soon.
All right. Yeah. So I don't know. It was kind of a rough year in Czech Republic, and like I never saw the sun. My living situation. I was living in a fucking hotel, and I had like.
Actually, hold on. Let's try to get you to do this. You on like speaker or something?
Am I on speaker?
Yeah. Because it did it for like it did it for like 2 minutes earlier, but it went right back to normal.
Maybe I'll mute and unmute real quick.
Oh, that's it right there. Perfect. Bang.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so you were living in a hotel? Just start there.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even touch anything. I didn't even mute it. But okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I in juniors I broke my nose a lot and have a deviated septum and also suffered from crippling seasonal allergies. So I just want to set the record. I do not have a coke problem. I rub my nose. I rub my nose every 10 seconds because it fucking itches and I just have a really messed up beak. All right. I have runny noses and all this shit. So
Hockey nose,
put that out there to anyone that's watching the video. But yeah, so Czech Republic was just an absolute battle. It was a tough bounce of a year. Like I was getting scratched all the time. And right around, I didn't know at the time, this was my last year of ice. I didn't really know much about roller overseas. And so I'm, kind of just grinding it, collecting a paycheck at this point in Czech Republic, like depressed, not caring about hockey, doing terrible performance-wise. And that's when I got sent down to the third league in the Czech Republic. And that's when the whole Gordy Bonnell
Gordo,
Yeah, yeah.
So let's kind of get into that first before the Africa
Let's
one.
hear that story.
I kind of want to get you to tell a little bit of a story before that story. So I believe
Sure.
that story starts with you leaving a show you did in New York, right? So when did you start like doing shows, and then kind of how fucking crazy were those? And then will you just lead that into the story of I think you stayed at
Yeah.
with
So
some chick, and then boom, off
sometime after Knoxville, like when I came back from Knoxville, I came back around Christmas time, so I had a lot of extra time. Like I didn't play a full season, and I really like honed in on music that year, and I was just like focusing a lot on like music, and I had a lot of people always like hit me up, on social media, like, "Hey, fucking love your music, bro," and all this stuff. And like I didn't really believe it. Like I was like, oh, that's just an internet fake thing. Like it's not real. Like, because I'm living in San Diego, no one's coming up to me on the streets, right? But then I go to Canada for a tournament, and out in public, just on a random day, people are like coming up to me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is this? What is this shit? Am I actually some kind of like junior B-list celebrity or some shit? Like, what's going on here? This never happens in San Diego. I only saw internet love, which can seem very fake. And once I started going to like roller hockey summer tournaments in Toronto and stuff, I started seeing this shit happen a lot. And then one time I took a fucking plane to Seattle. I don't know why. I think I was drunk and I always wanted to go to Seattle. And I booked a plane ticket there by myself. It was like a weird hobby I had for like 2 years where I would just fly to a city I'd never been to by myself and just try to see how long I can make it there.
Crazy hobby.
Yeah, I just try to meet people and like crash on their couches and shit. I'm really passionate about just like drifting around and stuff like that. Like I said, I get it from my mama. But yeah, I went to Seattle, ended up being like homeless, chilling on a bench after like the third night. But the fucking first day in Seattle, I was on Twitter and I was like, I'm in Seattle, and some fool was like, oh shit. And that was the first time in real life where like I really like hung out with someone who's like only knows me because of my music or whatever. I never felt like any sort of special person. I just felt like a hockey guy that had some song. And so I had that night with him, and then I cruised over to fucking Canada. Took a bus from Seattle to Vancouver, and this is where shit gets really crazy. This moment is where everything changed. This is 2014, I think right after my rip in Knoxville. And I go up to Vancouver, and I'm on Twitter like, yo, Vancouver, what's up? Like, are you internet people even real? Like, and some kids like, where are you? Like, immediately my DMs start blowing up because I'm in Canada now. This is hockey country. And I don't know what to choose, who to chill with. But everyone's throwing crazy ideas at me, like, come do this, come do that, come do this. And some kid's like, yo, I'm throwing a fat fucking banger in Maple Ridge. Shout out Chris Draper is his name. I still remember that. Shout out to me. All my hockey injuries in my head, I still remember his name. But yeah, this kid's like, I'm throwing a fucking banger at my house tonight. You should come through. Like, it's a house party. I love house parties. And I was like, oh, good old Canadian house party. Let's go. Man, I pull up to this fucking house party. The whole party, like, was out in the front yard, like, waiting for me.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I get out of the car, and I felt like fucking Jay Beebs stepping on the red carpet or some shit.
Are you rolling up alone, like in a cab?
I was rolling up. These guys picked me up in the car, the guys from Twitter. It was Chris and like two of his boys. So they picked me up. Once they got all their like pictures out of the way, they drive me to the fucking house, and it's like it's a proper banger. There's like 50 heads there minimum, all like hockey heads and like, puck bunnies, whatever. And it's like, I couldn't even get to the fucking front door. Like, motherfuckers were all like, going like this. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And the whole fucking night, I never felt so much real life love, not Twitter love. And I was like, holy shit, motherfuckers really do. Like, they really are playing this stuff. Like, I need to start taking music more seriously. I kind of just went home and really started like, man, maybe I should do a little tour. And I started doing shows. And yeah, that's kind of how that happened. Like, I was inspired by seeing it in real life for the first time because I never really pursued that career. I was like, I'm still a hockey player at the end of the day, man. That's like music is like, that's some fucking hobby I put on the internet, whatever. But after seeing that, I was like, man, like maybe I should do some shows, not for money, just to like show people, like just to see that love again, recreate what I felt there. And yeah, started like hitting shows and even set up like a little fucking East Coast Canada tour in like 2016. And yeah, it was really cool. Really,
What's
really.
what's the craziest shit that's gone down at one of your shows?
Well, yeah. Um, I don't know. There's a lot that stands out. Okay, in San Diego, Arizona Zervas, he opened for me. You know him, right?
Heard of him? Can't tell
He-
you like
He's from Northern
songs and
Virginia.
stuff like that. Is he really?
He's from Maryland. He grew up playing hockey. He's the guy that has the song Roxanne.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wanna do it all night. That's the
Gotcha.
biggest song. Like, dude, Sway Lee from Ray Strimmer brought him out on the arena. That
Mhm.
song's got 500 million plays right now on Spotify. He completely blew up. Arizona Zervas, shout out the homie. He opened for me in San Diego. He used to hit me up and be like, yo, living the dream is sick, man. I want to make music. I'm a hockey player, blah, blah, blah. And then one day he's like, I want to open for you. And he came down to San Diego, and it was pretty awesome. Like, I guess in that moment, it wasn't crazy. But looking back at how well he's done, I'm like, it's pretty stoked. Pretty sweet to like see what he's done. So having him there was crazy. I don't know. In Toronto, we had like Zach Bell, the hockey Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
He was my doorman collecting the money because they wouldn't let him in the show. He wasn't old enough. So I lied to the venue and said he's with us on tour. He's our manager. So I made him collect all the money, and then he got just blacked out hammered with us. It's great. Fun. But okay, I think probably the best story is, in Manhattan, New York City. I'm up on the mic. There's this beautiful girl, front row, skinny dress, like just eyeballing me the whole time. I'm trying to focus, not forget lyrics. I'm hammered,
Got blood flow going.
Yeah, I'm just, the way she's looking at me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going home with this girl for sure. Like,
Yep.
it's no doubt in my mind. And then after the show is over, it's always like a pretty nice party with everyone because like I'm not someone to be like, oh, I'm going backstage and not hanging out with you guys,
Right.
Like, I'm not putting on shows like that, it's like I'm playing at bars. It's like 50 to 100 people. Like,
So let's drink and party after, yeah.
Exactly. I'm not. A lot of these bars didn't even have a backstage. Like, I was at the bar with the people before I went on stage. Like, oh,
Yeah.
what's up? I was just buying people beers and shit. But yeah, so get drunk with this girl, start talking to her, and then after the show's over, we like go to some fucking after party, and we're at some like house, some really sick like condo plex thing in Manhattan. And the first floor, I had like the receptionist with security and all that. And they had like a movie theater there, like a home movie theater, like a pretty big one. And there's like always movies playing in there. And there was no one in there. So I go in there with her because we were at a party in the apartment. I couldn't be in there with her. I'm trying to be alone with this chick,
Mm-hmm.
And we go to the movie theater. We start banging. There's cameras in this fucking room, like lots of them. So I'm like on all fours, with this chick, and security walks in, and immediately it's like, oh fuck, like putting on our clothes, and he's like, I'm calling the police, don't go anywhere. I didn't know what to do, and I was drunk, so I panicked, and I just started speaking Swedish because I had an idea in my head. It's like, well, if I pretend like I don't understand him and pretend I'm foreign, maybe he'll let me go.
Yeah.
So he starts saying, I'm calling the police, and I just start like walking past him. And then he starts like being like, hey, I'm talking to you. And I was like, like just making random sounds that sounded like Swedish and the few Swedish words that I knew at the time. And I was like, no English, no English. And then I just like walked out. And he was really upset. And it was like, fucking, we tried getting back into my buddy's house. They're all passed out. I have nowhere to sleep. I'm on the streets of fucking Manhattan, New York. My phone is dying, and I have a fucking plane flight to the Czech Republic the next day at like 12 to report for a fucking training camp. I purposely planned a show in New York City the day before because I had to like do a layover from LA to New York anyways to get over to Europe. I didn't have a direct flight. So I was like, yeah, I'll do like a 2-day layover. I'll rip a show while I'm at it. My phone's dying, my charger, all my shit's in my friend's apartment. They're drunk, they're not answering. And I'm just like, God damn it. Now it's like 4 a.m. I'm on the streets of Manhattan and my phone's about to die. I'm with this chick. I'm like, this night just got so bad. And then two guys are like fiddling in some apartment next to us, like trying to get in their door. And this girl's like, I got this. And she's like, hey, boys. And the guys are like, oh, like, hey, what's up? She's like, what do you guys do tonight? And they're like, oh, these guys were black. They're like, oh, we're just getting home from the bars. She's like, yeah, you guys want to party? And they were like, yeah. And she's like, do you mind my brother comes with? Brother. So these guys are like, oh, yeah, for sure. So we're like in these guys' house, and man, this is like a tweaker pad. This is like a it looked like a crack house, man. This shit was just trash everywhere, like just all sorts of paraphernalia. And these dudes just like passed out on the couch with us in their house. So, you know, I start rifling to the fridge. I grab myself an apple, a couple slices of cheese. I'm macking.
Yep.
And then we just open a bedroom door of one of these dudes' beds, and we just jump in his bed and we start hooking up. And the sun's coming up, and I can't believe this is life right now. Like, where am I? Like, and then eventually, like, I think we fell asleep for like 2 hours, woke up. Those dudes are still passed out, all their clothes on the couch, just twacked out. And then, yeah, I ended up like just leaving this guy's apartment. I used one of their phone chargers that was in that bedroom to charge my phone. Like, everything worked out.
Yep.
Woke up, said bye to that chick.
On your way to Czech Republic.
My friend, he answered, ran up to his apartment, grabbed my suitcases, my bags, went back down, waved down a taxi. I was like, JFK, please. And then I was on a plane to the Czech Republic.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Love it. All right, so I'm gonna have you. Holy fuck! Yeah, that's
great.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's funny shit. So and then you get to the Czech Republic, and then I mean, you fucking get there, and you get in the locker room, and then bang, you were tweeting about it the other night. So and then that's when Bono comes into play. Actually, I'm gonna have you go mute and unmute again real quick.
Okay. How we doing?
It probably just fixes itself.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but it is what it is. But no, you're good. So yeah, so you fly out to Czech Republic the next day, get ready for training camp, and then bang, you're in the locker room.
I remember showing up to training camp. It's like August. I remember like doing the craziest off ice like training you would ever see in your life. Like, it was so Czech. It was so Eastern European.
What kind of shit do they do differently than like you do off ice here?
Dude, we were like playing crab soccer, you know, like crab.
Oh, yeah. We're on all fours and
You're on all fours.
Yeah.
We're like, you know, going like this to train your leg. We're doing all sorts of crazy shit. I remember one time they made us carry actual stones, like real stones. Like, they didn't even, like, that's so like Czech. Like, why not just use weight plates? Like, we're carrying stones up a hill. Like, we're having to run up a hill with like miniature boulders. And this hill's like pretty steep, and you go to the top and you go back down and you're waiting in line. I remember the kid in front of me in line, like 2 steps up the hill, he like fainted. Like, it was August, like 100 degrees, and he just like fucking buckled on the hill, drops the stone rolls down. His like corpse, we'll call it, is just his body's just laying on the hill, like right in front of me. And the 2 Czech trainers, like these big, like ball, you know, Czech-looking guys, literally just one grabs his feet, one grabs his arms, and they literally just take him and throw him down the hill, like off to the side. And then the coach at the bottom of the hill just dumps a bucket of water on him. And I remember just being like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And the whole time is going on, like hardcore, like deep Eastern Euro techno is playing like
right.
Like, it was so weird. But yeah, ended up being a really shit season. And so I get sent down a league, and this is where Gordy comes in the picture. Gordy, but no, I mean, you guys know him since you're from the DMV area. Shout out Gordy, one of my best friends. Man.
Yeah, Gordo's the man. His dad too, big Gordo. They're all fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, the Bunnells, Gordy, like, that's my dude. That's my brother for life. I got so much love for that guy. He's a great person. But yeah, I grew up playing with him in Virginia on the Mad Dogs till I was like 10, and then once my family like moved back to the West Coast, this is like kind of pre-social media days. So like, and I didn't have a cell phone either. I was kind of too young, and so I kind of just like lost touch with a lot of my Virginia friends until like Facebook came around, and a lot of us started like re-adding each other after many years. But at that point, it's like, what's the point of getting back in touch. Life goes on, you just kind of move on from people and relationships. So I just didn't really have Gordy on like any social media, I don't think. I just hadn't talked to him in like 8 years since I left Virginia. I didn't even know Gordy was playing ice hockey or hockey anymore. I haven't heard from him in so fucking long. Turns out Gordy's doing the same shit I'm doing, bouncing around minor leagues in Europe. And he's playing in Slovakia at the time. I'm playing in Czech Republic. I had no idea of it, I was not aware of this, that one of my childhood friends was one country over in another league. And one day I get sent down to the league below me. On that same fucking day, Gordy gets traded from Slovakia to the Czech Republic. Obviously, it used to be one country, Czechoslovakia, but 2 countries now. He gets traded from the Slovakia league to the Czech league, to the same fucking team that I just got sent down to. Now, Gordy had already gotten situated there. He hops on the bus. They're going on a road trip. They're supposed to pick me up at the gas station.
Yeah, because how you got to that gas station is kind of a fucking wild. I mean, isn't it right when you got to Czech Republic, you're sitting there with Patrick Elias in the locker room? And then boom, the bus dumps you at a gas station.
That was on the first team I was with in the top league, or in the first team I was playing for. That team is called SK Oraska Slavia Trebic, and it's actually the hometown of Patrick Elias and Martin Erat.
Okay.
And Thomas Sabotka. So there's like a couple NHL players that come from this small town, and they train there in the summers before they go back to the NHL. The captain of my team was actually Roman Erat, which is Martin Erat's brother. So like I kind of just show up there, and fucking Patrick Elias and Martin Erat are in the locker room. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was just getting kicked out of a movie theater like last night with some chick from a rap show, and now I'm like tying my skates locker room talk with Martin Elias, or Patrick Elias and Martin Erat. I'm just like, no, and they were the only ones I was talking to because none of the other guys spoke English. And they played in the NHL their whole career, so obviously they spoke English. So I'm at, like, we're doing drills. I'm like, hey, what's up, Patrick? Like, what are we doing here? Like a 2-on-1 or something? I was doing 2-on-1s with Patrick Elias. I remember one time he opened up for a 1T, and I put the puck like 3 feet in front of him, and I was like, like it's stressful doing drills with NHLers. Like, dude, and you totally see why like they play in the show and had long careers. Like, even at his age at the time, like, man, he was really good, like just technical and did everything right. He ended up giving me a ride home from practice. I was like, hey, Patrick, I live kind of far, and I need a ride home. I grew up watching this guy like win cups, and I'm like, can I have a ride home, please? And he gives me a ride home. He had like a sick Beamer or something. Yeah, that was cool. That whole, like, for that league I was playing in, the Czech second league, it was pretty short lived. Like, I was there for like 4 months, and then I get sent down. The day I get sent down, both my team, my current team, and my new team were on road trips. They had away games, so they coordinated with the other team, like, hey, we're sending him down. This was the farm team for the team I was on. We're sending him down to you guys to see how he does, and we'll call him back up when he's ready, if he's ready. We'll meet you guys. We'll drop him off at this gas station on the side of the highway, which was like somewhere where both teams were crossing the road at some point. There's only like 2 main highways in the Czech Republic. So they just drop me off at a fucking gas station, and they're just like, new team, bus, come. And then
you're like, fuck.
They just like left, and I'm just like sitting on my bag at a gas station, like, what the fuck is going on? I have no cell phone service, no Wi-Fi.
Like, this other team's not even coming at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fuck this. And then all of a sudden, like, a bus pulls up. It's obviously a hockey bus. And I'm just like, all right, it's got to be them. And, they kind of like wave me over. I'm like, all right, for sure. Put the bag on the bus. Get on the fucking bus. Do like a quick scan. Like, oh, this is going to suck. Like, bunch of Czech dudes. They're just going to be like, who's this fucking American kid? And all of a sudden, I just like, I'm like, am I dreaming right now? Like, is this real? I'm like, I haven't seen his face in 8 years, but I know who it is. But I didn't believe it for like, I was stunned for a couple seconds. I'm like, Gordy? He was like, Charles? And we were both like, kind of like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, I played roller hockey with you when I was like 12. Why are you on a bus in the middle of a farmland in the Czech Republic, third league for ice hockey?
Like a fucking Twilight Zone.
Yeah, man. It was really weird. And all the other guys on the bus were like, what's going on with these guys? These fucking weird Americans. They thought we were just like connecting because we were American, but like, it was, yeah. So I shake all the boys' hands and then I sit next to Gordy and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you got to explain yourself. Like, what is happening? And we just caught up over like 3 hours on the road and talked about life and how we both ended up over there. And his past situation was really shit. Mine was shit. And there we were in the locker room getting ready to go play a game in the Czech Republic together. And then after that, we went back to the hometown. They put us in a little sport hotel, which is pretty much an old school, like USSR, like just the shittiest bunker looking room you could imagine. No heat, nothing, just super. It's literally like a room attached to the rink. And we were living in it. And it was like so dust. You couldn't even imagine. So after like 2 weeks of that, we were like, yeah, fuck this. Gordy's like, I'm fucking bouncing. I'm going to Sweden or I'm going home. I can't do this anymore. Like, even with me, it was still like a bad situation. Like, and then we talked to the owner. We were like, we need a fucking apartment or we're out.
Right.
And the owner is just like, oh, I got a house that you guys can live at. I'm never there.
So yeah, just have our whole house. We're never there.
There you go.
So he's like, yeah, you guys should have asked me earlier. Like, oh, fuck. So he lives in a house like 15 minutes outside of the small town that we were playing out of. It was in a little village, which was like 8 houses around a pond called Lipkova Voda. There was no markets, no stores, nothing. Just literally houses around a pond, and then surrounding the pond was a never-ending forest. And basically, me and Gordy were just living out here in this house. He was working all day at the rink because he was the president of the club. And
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Gordy
so-
was?
No, not
Oh,
Gordy.
the guy. Oh, the guy was. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, no, Gordy was not.
I was gonna say that'd be some.
Yeah, so this dude's like, he's a hard worker, trying to make the club stay afloat and all this. So he's like at the office of the rink a lot. And we're just like living in this like really nice house in this village by a pond. And they have like chickens and all this shit. So we would go out to the coop every morning, grab a couple of eggs. Me and Gordy, like 2 childhood Virginia friends, just in this village in the middle of the forest in Czech Republic, like cooking up eggs from the coop. Like, we were laughing. Literally every morning, me and Gordy woke up, we just laughed. The first thing we did was laugh. First thing, we were sharing a bedroom too upstairs. And we would just like wake up and we just both kind of like look at each other like, this is real life. Like, we
What
could
the
not.
fuck is happening right now? It's just another day.
Every day was like just another day of Twilight. Like, we couldn't believe it. But the team itself was like, they weren't playing us. They weren't like giving us power play time. They were kind of like a bunch of local guys that just weren't giving us any love. And it quickly became a situation like from our past teams. The only difference was we had each other now.
Mhm.
So, and we were living in a house and it was good to see him. So we both kind of stuck around for each other to not make each other miserable if one of us left.
Yeah.
And we started like smoking a bunch of bud because I don't know, like,
There's nothing to do.
What the fuck else is there to do?
yeah, there was nothing else to do. Like, we were just kind of drinking wine, and every once in a while we'd just like go out in the forest. Well, every day we'd go out in the forest and we would just like spark up a J and like just chill and just get our minds off hockey and whatnot. Ended up
Kind of like
staying-
your escape.
Yeah, stayed there for a couple months, and then I got called back up to the other league, and I said bye to Gordy, and he lasted like 5 days, and then he left to Sweden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely, like, well, I can't do this without anyone else to like talk to or anyone else to hang out with. I'm fucking out of here. I would have done the same fucking thing if I were Gordy.
Yeah, I remember one day we rolled up to Pracky. Like, we never did this. Like, this was only like strictly like a forest thing where we would like spend our whole day in the forest. We'd bring food in backpacks and like maybe a couple cold beers and like a pre-rolled joint. One day we decided, like, we were so upset with hockey. We were just like, fuck this. Like, it's not even fun anymore. So we decided to sneak out of the locker room and rip a J. And just like being in that locker room, like baked in the Czech Republic was a fucking experience.
yeah, so I was like, where the with all these motherfuckers that don't like me or really know me, and we're
Yeah,
just
it was
sitting here
like-
just high as hell together.
Yeah, it was like, man, I gotta get out of here. Like, I can't wait to like. And the Czech Republic is such a great country with such rich culture, amazing food, amazing beer, amazing hockey. But if you're an outsider there, it's like you're never going to be on the inside.
Yeah.
So Kyle brought it up earlier, and you kind of mentioned staying at the rink in Czech Republic before you got the house, but the roller league, I think, over off the coast of Africa where you're sleeping on the bench.
Yeah. So yeah, after that year in the Czech Republic, I was just like, I'm fucking done. Like, this adventure has gone too far. I wound up in a shitty situation. You know, things didn't work out in Knoxville, and now it happened a second time where things didn't work out in Czech, and then I went down to the third league, and it was just like rough bounce one after another, and I was like, okay, I'm not just gonna keep doing this. Like, this isn't fun anymore. Fuck hockey. So I went back to San Diego after that season, and I just had a whole summer to think about things, reevaluate things. And basically, I came to the conclusion, like, I didn't like hockey anymore. I didn't even watch NHL for like 2 years. I didn't watch one game, maybe like the Stanley Cup final or whatever. I didn't care about hockey. I lost my love for it. And I was still always playing roller hockey in the summers in San Diego with my friends, because that's what I grew up playing roller. Like, roller was always fun to me. Roller was always like, this is that summertime fun sport with the boys where there's no hitting, there's no fighting, carefree, you can dangle. It's like 8 players. You get a ton of ice time.
Yeah, it's just a finesse game.
It's so
Right.
loose and laid back.
Yep.
There's no like coach saying like, hey, you got to be here at 8 o'clock, and if you were late, we're going to trade you, and you're not allowed to have long hair, and no drinking on the weekends, boys. We got a game. There's none of that shit. Like, roller hockey, you can do whatever you want. You can smoke you can take shrooms before the game. No one cares. There's no coaches. It's just it's like a very free spirited version of ice hockey, I guess. And I always look forward to after long, brutal ice hockey seasons of injuries and just the grind and always having to be places on time and watching film. I always looked forward to summertime roller with the boys. It was like it's like a happy place. It was like that feeling of why we all love hockey. It's like you're just out there playing for the love of the game. There's no one's trying to get scouted. It's just roller hockey.
Now, were you doing just in San Diego, or were you like traveling to summer tournaments like Narch tours, all that?
I was, playing locally in San Diego, playing in the streets with my boys, and then, I would do a couple summer tourneys here and there, but not usually just the ones in California. I went to a few outside California, but usually after a hockey season, I just want to stay home. I don't feel like traveling too much for hockey. Like, I usually just do 1 or 2 tourneys, and then just like the Wednesday pickups with the boys at Skate San Diego, our local rink. So I always related like roller hockey to like freedom and happiness, and roller hockey's a fucking beautiful sport, and I do relate it to freedom and happiness. It is the free-spirited version of ice hockey. So once I was done with ice hockey, once I made that decision, or at least I was over it for the moment, I kind of just stayed home and was like, I'm done. I'm just going to chill here and play roller hockey and live in San Diego. I mean, that's where my family's from. That's where I'm born and raised. It's not a bad place to be. San Diego.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like a life.
Yeah, San Diego's a very gorgeous place, and I have a good support system there. I have good friends there. For me, like, all my music friends are there. So I was just like, you know what? I did the whole, took a run at it in ice hockey. I've been moving around a lot. Maybe I should settle down. Sure, I was fucking wrong. September, October, November rolls around. I'm like, I fucking miss hockey, dude. I need to get out of San Diego. I need to like just shake my life up again. And yeah, around Christmas time, I was like starting to think like, don't they play roller hockey like professionally in Europe? Because I knew some California kids that did that.
Right.
So I messaged one of my boys. I'm like, yo, what's up with Spain? You've been out there for like 6 years or some shit, right? Like, they're paying you money? He's like, yeah. He tells me the amount. I'm like, dude, that's more than I was making in minor league in ice hockey. What the fuck? What's Spain like? He's like, oh, it's insane. Like, it's insane. You would fucking love it. And I was like, can you get me out there? And here in Spain, there's like 8 teams in the league. Only 4 teams even have import players because only 4 teams can even afford to have foreign players. And each team has like 2 imports. So that makes like 8 spots for foreign players. There's just not a lot of room here. So he tells me like, yeah, man, I can't get you out here. It's pretty tough. And it's the middle of the season right now. So I'll let you know if I hear anything, but whatever. So all right, for sure. Like on January 3rd, I get a phone call from this dude, and he's like, yo, the team in the Canary Islands have 2 guys from Finland that just got fired. The coach fired them. They're looking for 2 players. They hit me up, asked if I know anyone. Do you want to go play in the Canary Islands? I was like, where?
Google Maps. Hold on. What the fuck?
Yo, I Google Maps that shit so quick. I was like, Canary Islands. I'm looking, like, where the fuck is this? And there's these couple dots off the coast of Morocco, Africa, off the coast of Western Sahara, like the Sahara Desert. Couple dots, like just off the coast. I was like, what? And I was like, what league is that, dude? Like the African Hockey League? What the fuck are you getting me into? He's like, nah. He's like, nah, it's Spain. And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't understand it. But essentially, it's like what Hawaii is to the States. You know, it's part of USA, but it's a territory that's far away. So it's about like a 3-hour plane flight from the mainland of Spain. But it's more or less Africa, like terrain-wise, nature-wise. Like half the island is just straight dunes, like straight Egyptian-looking desert. And I was just like, what the fuck? And he was like, I need to know, like, by today, if you're in or out. So it's like, all right. He's like, why not? I'm like, fuck it.
Back to the fuck it mentality.
Yeah, just back to that. Like, you never know where an experience is going to lead you. So I just kind of fucking jumped on it. And yeah, like a week later, I was just in the Canary Islands, like playing fucking roller hockey. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's nuts. I mean, what would you say probably the most fun season you've had, whether it's like location or team wise, roller or ice? I mean, you've been plenty of places, leagues, you name it.
Man, they're all different, you know?
Right.
It's all hockey with the boys. So like every season is fucking usually a blast. I mean, minus a few, like, you know, Czech Republic wasn't that sick, but Gordy was there, so that was sick. But I don't know, like I had some really fun seasons with the Xtreme. I mean, in New Mexico was insane. Like I'd never been on a team with all beauties. Like everyone was insane. Like so cool. I had a lot of fun in New Mexico. It's really hard to put a finger on it, dude.
I feel you.
I guess the best, like, location-wise, probably the Canary Islands, just because that's insane. Like, it's
some shit you don't think of.
a fucking Spanish island off the coast of Africa. Is that not the craziest place in the world to play hockey?
With the roller hockey leagues, like what the fuck?
I'll wait. Is there any place crazier where you can get paid to play hockey? Because I know there's like some kind of, I saw a YouTube thing like ice hockey in Kenya, or like you can find hockey rinks in Thailand and shit, or New Zealand, but like a proper league.
Yeah, like a professional. That's going to pay you. That's going to pay you.
Yeah, that's got to be the crazy situation. It's literally Spanish, but African at the same time. It's like a mix of Spanish and Africa. And everyone that lives there is like immigrants from Colombia and Venezuela. So it's like super colorful, like Latino culture. And it's like, I'm walking around like, I'm fucking playing hockey. Like, what the fuck?
Now, would you play people from Spain, or just like from the island? Would it just be teams
Spain.
from the island?
So that team is in the Spanish league. So like we had to fly to the mainland for like all of our away games. And it's always like a 3-hour flight.
That's a little home rink advantage there. Other teams flying outside island.
Dude, big home rink advantage. Every time people come to go play them, like a lot of times, like they get problems at the airport and forfeits happen. Like it's hard getting down there kind of because there's like not a lot of flights that go there every day, and like one problem and it's fucked. So that was a really fun time. And then I did one season there, and they asked me to come back, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna get back into ice hockey. Thanks though. Went home that summer, and I was like, yo, Spain was fucking insane. Like, I really liked it there. I'm going to try to go back. Fuck it.
Right. So that's where you are currently now, yeah?
I'm not in the Canary Islands anymore. I'm in Mallorca.
In Spain, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Spain. So I wasn't able to go back there because they'd already signed players. So I found a new spot, and I've been here in Mallorca now this is my 3rd season here. And this place is just it's an island actually as well. But it's like it's right off the coast of the mainland, off the coast of Barcelona. It's really, really insanely beautiful here. Like it looks like Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at your pics, like where you live and shit, it's just kind of like that's just an awesome looking place.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous here. I feel like super blessed to
Yeah.
like be here and have the opportunity to be here, and I'm really happy here. I got good friends here, so I never played anywhere for 3 years, and I've stayed here for 3 years because it's really looking back on it. This might be the best place I've ever played. It's great here.
It's awesome. So we'll start to kind of wrap it up for you so we don't hold you
Well,
all damn night. But yeah, we got a
before
couple more
that,
questions. Go ahead, AB.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
no
I've
hesitate. Ask whatever, shoot whatever. I'm on quarantine, man. Like,
I was
True.
gonna say I've heard a couple of crazy stories from you. Well, because I heard you on the Roller Dad podcast. So let's get into the story of
shout out
your
Roller Dad News.
yep your brother. What did he get like bit by a monkey or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, get into that story a bit.
All right, so yeah, we were traveling around the world for like a couple weeks, and like just a bunch of fucking bad things happened. Like it was like the trip of bad things. We just had like I don't know, we had bad karma. We missed so many flights, lost so much money. We were homeless so many nights. We were in Italy for like 2 weeks, and we slept on the beach or in train stations every night. Everything just wasn't working out, but we were still having so much fun. And then we arrived in Thailand. Thailand's, from what you've heard, it's probably pretty accurate. It's a fucking place we go and just black out, and have an insane time. Me and my brother, we've been traveling for like 4 weeks at this point with a couple buddies. Now we're in Thailand ripping it up, and there's like a bunch of monkeys in Thailand, like on the beaches, and like they're like birds, like they survive off tourists, like they know that humans have the food. They don't need to like go in the woods and look for whatever the fuck they eat, bananas, I guess. Is
Yeah,
that racist? Is that stereotypical? Say monkeys don't eat bananas.
just an animal.
I don't know, but they don't need to go in the fucking woods looking for whatever fruit or vegetables the monkeys traditionally live off. Thailand's a tourist hotspot. They know us. We got pizza. We got all this good shit. So they hang out on the beaches where the humans hang out, and they jump on you and shit, and jump on your shoulder. You're like, oh, cute, a monkey. Dude, this is not a lie. Dead ass, I had a video of this. My fucking phone in Thailand, like 2 days after this video, I got robbed. And dude, I had a fucking video of a monkey running up behind my brother with his these little fuckers with the white faces.
Uh-huh.
They're like 2 feet tall tops, like the little like skinny lanky motherfuckers is these ones. This little guy runs up behind my brother, swinging like the run like that, smacks the fucking beer out of my brother's hands, grabs the beer, man. He grabs the beer with his little monkey hands like this, and just goes and drinks the whole fucking beer. I'm not kidding. This little monkey chugged the beer. And
Monkey
it
was
was
wasted,
the
dude.
funniest thing I've ever seen. And they're probably so used to that. Like, people bring Coca-Cola. That's probably so good to a monkey, like any kind of juice or Coke. He didn't know it was a beer, but he was like, oh, it's a human drink. It's got to be good. He chugged it. So these monkeys are clearly trained to like steal everything, and there's like little punks. So one monkey just jumps on my brother, and my brother's like, taking selfies and all this bullshit. And then I don't know, my brother tried to like pet him or something, and they say you're not supposed to look them in the eyes.
Huh. What?
And yeah, I guess. But the monkey just like turned around and was like, and just like chomped right on my brother's forehead. And my brother was like, oh, fuck. And those monkeys are like, they're fucking riddled with diseases, man. Like they're just crawling all sorts of shit. And it's known that those monkeys in Thailand, like some of them have rabies. And rabies isn't a joke. I think everyone who gets rabies dies, like 95%. It's like once it takes like 2 weeks to kick in, like to offset. Is that the word? But once rabies like kicks in, like it's pretty like 90% lethal or something.
Yeah.
And so we're like on this little fucking island in the middle of nowhere in Thailand, and we're like, what the fuck? And my brother's like, damn, that was crazy. And then like within like 3 hours, my brother falls like really, really sick, like ill as fuck. And we were packing up our bags to go from this one little island to this other island, and we already had like money invested, and so we gotta go. we're like taking this real sketchy boat through the fucking water, just going like this little wooden boats, fucking water in the boat, like. And my brother's just kind of like going like this, like I don't feel good, I don't feel good. I'm like, fuck. Then we arrive at the new place. We actually got a fucking hotel, which was good timing, but there was no air conditioning in there, or it didn't work. And my brother's like, I need air, I can't breathe, it's so fucking hot. And he starts getting really sick, and I'm running around the hotel trying to find staff to fix the air conditioning or switch us rooms. And he just gets worse and worse, and to the point where he's just like not even talking anymore. He's just like over his bed with a bucket of throw up. And I'm thinking like, dude, my brother got fucking rabies. Like, and now I'm doing research and Google scaring the shit out of me, you know?
Right.
Not good to research, but now I'm tripping, dude. And I'm like, fucking hell. But I'm also in Thailand, and I'm trying to like enjoy my time there. So now I'm like playing babysitter to my brother. We're there with 4 other friends. They're not watching out for him. Like, they're there to live their life. So they all go to this. There's like this bar in the jungle. It was like a reggae bar. It was a live Thailand reggae Bob Marley cover band. And at the bar, there was shitloads of monkeys. You could buy joints from the bartender. You could buy magic mushroom margaritas. Like, this place is insane. And they're having the time of their lives, texting me all this shit like, come. I'm like, fuck. Like, all right, my brother's already passed out. Like, I check his heart, like he's breathing. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just keep checking on him like every hour. It was only like a 10-minute walk to the bar. So I start going to the bar. I ended up performing that night. The reggae band gets off stage, and then some other dude comes up and just starts playing reggae on the guitar, and I start just spitting bars, freestyling, like blacked out. I had some magic mushroom margarita, smoking joint. Like, I was faded as fuck. I was living that silent life. Every hour going back to check on my bro, and he's just like not doing well, and I'm like really scared. And the next day, he's still alive, so I'm like, fuck, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he just got some kind of sickness from the monkey, but it's not rabies, and he'll beat it. We found some medic eventually that was like, just give him these pills. It's like nausea pills. Gave him the pills, and then he ended up like being all right.
Yeah. I was about to say, because Thailand, there's probably not many hospitals, or at least good ones you can just kind of go to and get your shit solved.
Yeah, it's fucking sketch.
Is that the same trip you got into? You did a kickboxing fight?
Yeah, that's the same trip. That was like 2 days before the monkey bite. There's these boxing bars in Thailand where it's pretty genius. Like, it's just a bar with a boxing ring in the middle, and anyone can fight. And if you fight, you get free drinks.
That's
sick, because it's like, how genius is that? Watching drunk people from the bar like box.
I mean, that sounds like a bar, like a West Virginia bar. Honestly, I feel like
great entertainment.
I feel like a West Virginia would do that.
It's so genius. I mean, obviously, it would never fly in the States, but
yeah.
You wear gloves and like a helmet. And there's a proper referee. It's a ring, the whole bouncy floor, the whole fucking thing, and you get free drinks. And so my brothers and me are like, we should. We're watching other drunk guys fight, and we like put our name on the list of people that want to fight. And then my brother looks over at the corner of the bar, and fucking Seth Green is there, the actor.
Right.
Like from Entourage and fucking and Austin Powers and shit.
Yeah, that guy. And my brother's like, holy fuck, dude, that's him. And I was like, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, it is. I was like, holy shit, it is. And I was like, bro, you won't ask him to fight. And he's like, dude, imagine if I fought Seth Green in Thailand and knocked him out. Like, they're the best. So, like, a lot of the dumb shit me and my brother do is that we do it for the story. Like, obviously we do it to, like, live in the moment, but also, like, no, we're both very aware, like, this is going to be such a fucking funny story if this happens.
Yeah.
So, like, my brother rolls up to Seth Green. He's like, yo, Seth Green's probably used to people approaching him all the time. Brother rolls up to him. He's like, yo, Seth, like, you trying to fight? And Seth's like, who are you? He's like, big fan, man, like, whatever. And Seth's like, he was really cool. He was like, nah, man, I'm really fucked up right now. Just trying to enjoy my night, watch the fights. And he was like alone for sure. And we're like, all right, cool. And then we walked away. And then I was like, why don't we just fight, bro? And so, we were next up, and they just gave us gloves, and we just were hammered and went at it and got free drinks out of it. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Who won the fight?
It's a draw, actually. Like, there was no like major. There's a couple like I landed a couple like really big ones on my brother's head. He landed a couple like really fucking heavy ones on my head. I actually climbed up the ropes at one point and did a WWE jump body slam. Yeah, I climbed up on the ropes and looked at the whole bar, which was like 50 people. And I was like, and everyone was like, whoa, and they hyped me up, and I just fucking like Stone Cold Steve Austin just jumped. It was like a dream come true.
Just put on a fucking show for the people.
But yeah, like neither of us like really knocked each other out. And obviously, like we were fighting each other, but like we weren't trying to like kill each other.
Yeah, you were like laughing the entire time while it was happening.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of dangerous. Like when I saw strangers fight, like they don't know each other, and like when a stranger hits you, you get mad.
Yeah.
And like I saw some guys like really wailing on each other while drunk, like seriously, like getting hit in the head hard. Like that can't be safe at all.
Yeah.
But if your brother smacks you in the fucking jaw, it's like, all right, whatever. I'll just pop him back and we're good.
Yeah, and like so it was fine.
And then the other story I was listening to is you almost died from an allergic reaction or something?
Yeah, last summer, I almost died.
From what? Go into that story. What the fuck happened there?
What'd you take? Or eat?
I ate shrimp. I'm allergic to shellfish, and I was really deep in the jungle of Guatemala, and I was with my brother, and I got chicken Alfredo, and he got like shrimp Alfredo, and I thought his was chicken Alfredo too. So when I finished my chicken Alfredo, I was still hungry, and I was like, "Yo, let me get a bite." And this actually on our 2-week trip down there to Central America, we hadn't really been drinking very much. We were kind of just like in nature. Like me and my brothers were all like really, like kind of relating back to my mom. Like kind of like got a little hippie in us. Like we're really big in like nature, just like walking around barefoot, mountains and all that kind of weird shit. So we were kind of just like exploring nature and waterfalls a lot. We were like down there to party last summer. But on this one specific night, we were at like a hostel on the river, and it was kind of like a party vibe. And we decided to get fucked up this night. And so we bought a handle of tequila, and we were just down in this tequila, and by dinner time, we were just like, you know, when you're blacked out at dinner, like it's such a great feeling.
Yep.
And I was like pretty blacked, and he was like, nah, man, you can't have a bite. And I was like, man, give me a fucking bite. Stop being a bitch. Like, give me a bite. And he was like, nah, I thought it was chicken Alfredo. It was shrimp. He gets up and goes to the bathroom. So I just, reach over the table, take my fork, and, stab a little chicken, I thought it was, but it was shrimp, get a little pasta, swirl it up, shove it in my mouth. 5 minutes later, I'm like going like this, rubbing my nose, my eyes start getting itchy, and then I could like tell, I'm allergic to like everything. Like, as I said earlier, like I touch my nose a lot because I have a fucked up nose. I'm just allergic to a lot of shit. So I'm aware of what allergies feel like when they're kicking in. And I felt them like so strong. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And like every minute it just got worse and worse and more strong. And then like eventually it was to the point where it was noticeable. One of the kids I was eating dinner with was like, yo, man, you good? And I was like playing it off like, yeah, I'm straight. He's like, no, like you don't look good. Like your face is swollen. Your lips are huge. And I was like, what? And I opened my selfie camera and I was like, oh, fuck. And then so immediately I'm like, okay, what did I eat? And I'm like, I said fucking chicken Alfredo. And I couldn't put the pieces together for like 5 minutes. And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm allergic to shellfish. I've only eaten shellfish once in my life. That was when I was 20. And I had a really bad allergic reaction, but I was in Corpus Christi. And I had my hockey trainer around, and he like had everything to need. And I wasn't drunk, and I ended up being fine. It was still bad then. I was like throwing up and everything. But I kind of forgot about that. It's been 7 years, and I just like ate shrimp. And then I was like, oh no, I forgot I'm allergic to shellfish. And I was like, that's got to be what it is. And I was like, this is going to be really bad, because I remember my first allergic reaction was really, really bad. And now in the middle of the jungle in Guatemala was not the time to be having an allergic reaction without an EpiPen. And I start panicking because now I know what it is, and I know that I'm like potentially deathly allergic to this. And knowing the circumstances of the situation and where I was geographically and just like the country I was in at the time, like I didn't know how their medical system was or anything. I started tripping balls. Like, I'm fucking drunk, and now I'm having this reaction. So my friend's like, "Do you want some pills?" I have some like, he had some like knockoff Guatemala like Claritin Clear kind of pills, and I had no other choice, you know. So I take these 2 pills. 5 minutes later, my friend starts reading like the fucking pill box, and the fucking box says, "Do not mix with alcohol, like lethal."
Uh-huh. And you're like,
And
oh, fuck.
I'm like, fucking hell, bro. I just took like 2 of these things,
After
and I'm
finishing
drunk
5.
as shit, and now I'm having an allergic reaction. So I have like these 3 terrible things happening at the same time. And keep in mind, it's like 100 degrees, and the humidity is like, yeah, it's like Maryland on an August day. You know what
Right.
that's like. It's just fucking tough. I'm having a lot of, and my breath is like getting worse and worse. I'm having a lot of trouble breathing. And eventually, like, it just starts closing up everything, my eyes, like my lungs. And I started like gasping for air, and everyone's like surrounding me, and I'm kind of I'm panicking. My anxiety is making it worse than it is. And then I kind of told everyone that was around me to like leave, like give me space. I just want to be around my brother in case, because at this point I shifted from like I'm having a bad allergic reaction. They called 911 at this point, and that made me panic even more once I realized that we needed 911. Because I told them, I was sitting there trying to ride it out, like like trying to breathe, and then I was eventually at one point I was like, call 911 now, because I could feel it in my body something was really wrong. And then while I'm waiting for the ambulance, who knows? I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, who knows what their ambulance is or when they're coming? But all I knew was it was getting harder and harder to breathe, and it got to a point where I started having like really bad thoughts, like really negative thoughts. Like, it went from like kind of hopeful, like I'll be straight, I'm a fucking hockey player, that'll be fine, to like, yo, you're gonna die. Like, I was having those thoughts, like,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're gonna die. And I was like, oh fuck, man. Like, so like I just wanted to be around my brother, and you know, because if that was my last moment, I didn't want to be surrounded by 10 people. So I just told my brother, I was like, hey, just keep talking to me, be positive, just don't let go, just keep talking to me. That's all I want right now. So like,
Yeah.
he just talking about the future, and you know, like, yeah, man, like, when we get home, we're gonna do all this shit, just trying to be positive. And like, I could feel myself blacking out. Like, you know, when you stand up too fast and you see all the stars,
Uh-huh.
dude, I was starting to see that.
Jesus
Yeah, like,
Christ.
I was getting a breath in like every 30 seconds. Like, I was trying, and then I'd be like, oh, and then I would hold on to that breath as long as I could, because I knew the next one, I didn't know when the next one would be coming. And then, yeah, I just remember like pretty much like it got to the point where I couldn't even like think anymore bad thoughts. I couldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna die. I just got to the point where I wasn't like feeling anything. I was just kind of like, I was literally dozing off like into
You're just trying to
unconsciousness.
think. Yep.
And my brother was talking, and it started sounding really dreamy, like, you know, very reverberated, like a fucking dream. I was literally fading. I was knocking out, man. And then I remember my chin just going, boom. My chin gets tilted up, and then tubes go right up my fucking nose. And then like I open my eyes like a minute later, and I see like a paramedic, and they had an oxygen tank.
The quotes
And
again, paramedic.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't a real, like, it was,
But it's something.
It was somebody that had some kind of knowledge and had some kind of equipment. It was like a really old school oxygen tank, but it was an oxygen tank. It got the job done, and it actually saved
what you
my fucking
needed.
life. And so then they fucking loaded me up on the stretcher, threw me in the ambulance. I'm still like fucked up. Like, still like my brain has been lacking oxygen. I'm still like, and I asked them if my brother could come in the ambulance, because I still didn't know if I was like gonna make it. I remember just telling my brother, come. And so he comes with me, and then like the sirens of the ambulance, like that's just like making me panic even more. Like, I'm like, this is so real right now. Like, sirens, there's always people around me. And then in the ambulance, they're like asking all these questions. I'm like barely able to respond. My brother doesn't know enough Spanish. We arrived to like a fireman garage kind of thing. Like, it was just a weird garage, and there was like a couple firemen like drinking whiskey and playing poker and smoking cigs at this like little card table, like just a cardboard card table, like whatever. and they just like had me hooked up to the oxygen, and they wanted to give me like some, I don't remember if it was some pills or some kind of like maybe like an EpiPen kind of allergen shot. But then my brother was like, no, 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 he's drunk. And they didn't know that at the time. And they were like, oh, so whatever they were planning on doing that was going to like save me, they now couldn't do because I was drunk. And then they just told me like, basically, this is going to be your body versus the allergies. And we're going to be here in case you go into any kind of shock or pass out. We have things to like, revitalize you and shit. And last minute things we can do, but basically it's up to you and your body. So we're just going to watch you and give you water and keep you on oxygen.
Like, oh, thanks. All right. That's
But yeah,
reassuring.
they didn't have another choice. So like, I mean, it's better than nothing. Like they had the things to like, help me out if things got really serious. I think it's like whatever the like the electric shock thing. I don't know what they had, but I remember just sitting there like fucked up, like watching these firemen like play poker and smoke cigs like right next to me. And I was literally sitting in a plastic like picnic chair. Yeah, dude, just hooked up to oxygen, like super fucked up. And then, yeah, like, I don't know, after like 2 hours of being there, I was like conversating with my brother. And then my brother was just like, man, you sure you're not just drunk now? And I was like, oh no. And then I was like, I rip out the tubes. And I was just like, and I could just breathe completely fine. And then I was like, I did like 10 more test breaths, and then I like stood up, and I was like, oh shit, bro, I'm just faded now.
I'm just still fucked up.
I was like, damn. I was like, I wonder how long. Like, what if I just arrived there and I was like, the allergy thing went away after like 15 minutes, and I was sitting there the whole time just blacked out, like about to throw up, faded. So eventually, I was just like, yeah, I'm good to go. Take me back. So they gave me a ride back, and I obviously just went straight to bed and up the next day, and I just had like a whole different kind of look on life.
Damn, that's
Damn,
kind of
dude,
wild.
you got some fucking crazy stories, dude.
Are there any bucket list places that you haven't been yet that you kind of really fucking want to? Or
I really want to go to Greenland. It's been my dream since 8th grade.
okay,
I don't know why. I always just saw that giant thing on the map, Like, why isn't this a continent? It's huge. And it's also just one country. It's like, it's a massive piece of ice that's like a country. And like, I did a project on it in 8th grade. So you can pick any country you want. You had to like talk about their culture and everything there. And I used to know everything about it. I used to like, if you've ever have time, Google pictures of Greenland. It's like so crazy. Like they paint their houses super bright neon colors. All the houses are like, it looks like Skittles. It looks like Skittles. It looks like a magical winter wonderland sprinkled with like all these like Skittles and shit. Like it's really crazy looking. And there's icebergs that just float in the ocean around there. And it's not like a popular tourist destination, but I've always wanted to go there, I guess.
Yeah, I've had a couple buddies that actually have gone there. They said it was fucking awesome. So
yeah, just super like rugged nature and stuff.
Yep.
So we'll kind of move to this next. Let's talk about it. The Street Ducks. It looks like you're back on the grind, back trying to build the brand back up, get the cloud out there. So I mean, I'm assuming it just started rollerblading around San Diego, but what do you see for it? I mean, what are the plans for it? I mean, like I said, I see you're starting to launch merch again and get all these chapters in different places.
Yeah, the Street Ducks has always been like since 2014. Me and my friends in San Diego, we just kind of rollerblade around San Diego. Sometimes we bring sticks and like a ball. Sometimes we didn't bring sticks because I mean it's pretty equally as fun, like just rollerblading. We already play enough hockey in the summer, so sometimes we like to just cruise the boardwalk for the sunset on blades. And we started like bringing backpacks with like boom boxes, and we'd all fill our backpacks with like beer and liquor. And I don't remember how I started, but I remember we just had like one night where we like, skated all over the city, like hammered, and we had such a fucking ripper. And we were like, oh, let's do that again. And then it kind of just became a thing this one summer, I think 2014, where we would just fucking rip. And then I don't even remember where the name came from. We were just drunk, started calling ourselves the Ducks, Street Ducks, and started ripping. And then like we were on that boardwalk so much in San Diego that the people's houses that lived there that would sit outside, they would see us, and we would pass so much times that they would know us as the guys, and people would quack at us when we were skating by. They'd go quack, quack, quack. And we kind of started building a little rep around San Diego. And I started like posting videos on Snapchat, Instagram story of us blading, and like people just kind of loved it. They were like, this is sick. And I started like just using my fucking weird mind to just come up with weird ideas. Just like, yeah, we're called a rollerblading gang. Like, we're a gang. This is gang shit. We're the Street Ducks rollerblading gang, and just kind of started using that. And then people started asking like, oh man, I want to be in a Street Ducks gang. And I was like, oh, you gotta start one. And then I got the idea, like, call it chapters, like Sons of Anarchy. Like, yeah, we're Street Ducks West Virginia chapter and stuff like that.
About to start the DMV chapter, boy.
Yeah, exactly. So like people started like fucking sending in videos like Street Ducks Toronto, Street Ducks Finland, Street Ducks St. Louis, like them and their boys doing the same thing we were doing, but where they're from. And then I started reposting those videos, and it inspired more people from other places to start their little rollerblading gangs. And then it just kind of like took off, and we made a song, made a music video, and it's pretty cool. And then obviously the last like couple years, 2014, we were all 21 or whatever. Last couple years, like guys from my Street Ducks have signed professional ice hockey contracts. Guys have gone over to Europe to play. Me personally, been in Europe so long, and the past couple summers when I have been coming home, that free time I've been traveling down in Central and South America or wherever I'm traveling. So I just have like. And then, like, everyone's just, life gets busy. Y'all know. It doesn't matter where you guys understand. Like, people start to scatter. And the past couple summers, the Ducks would only get, like, we used to do it twice a week. And then we'd be lucky if we could get 2 skates in a summer. So, yeah, kind of stopped ducking as much. And then we still duck and whatnot. But, like, the whole, like, social media side of things, like, it was pretty dead. Like, we weren't doing anything. But, since quarantine came around and
Revitalized.
Nothing better to do. A lot of people were like just tagging me like Street Ducks, like blading with their friends because hockey's closed. People can't play pucks. People are out in the streets. And I started being like, oh yeah, people are out there ducking, and all my boys are back in San Diego, obviously, because everyone's hockey seasons are over, so they're just home like ducking. And I was like, and I started like, I tried to figure out the password. I found out the password, logged into the Ducks Instagram, and I was like, damn, I haven't posted on here in a year. And then so I was like, fuck it, why not just fire it back up? Everyone's craving content right now. I have unlimited GoPro videos of ducking shit that no one's ever seen. I have enough to post content every day if I want. And I have people sending in stories of them ducking. So like, it's like, fuck it, fire it back up. And then, once I fired it up, of course, everyone's like, yo, we want more shirts. And so that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah, that's cool shit. Like, yeah, we were talking to Gross the other day. It was like, dude, let's do it. Let's collab it. Let's go Street Ducks, Chirpin DMV. With the pod, we'll team up. We'll do a DMV chapter, just all fucking DMV, man. We'll get people out in Ocean City, riding around and getting it. We'll go riding through DC and shit, Baltimore.
Strolling down Coastal Highway in Ocean City, that shit would be dope.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to get it going over here.
Yeah, we'll get it going. We'll get a shit ton of videos too. Yeah, we'll do all that type of stuff.
Yeah, can't wait, boy. Send me some videos. Do some Docnados. Got to hit the Docnado move. It's the newest move in the book.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll definitely get some stuff together. Maybe we can fucking get together and talk at some point after this and do some collab merch or some bullshit, some Caps themed DMV type duck shit.
Cool.
We can do some stuff. But KPAP, AB, you got anything else for him?
Nah, that's it, man. You got one hell of a story, bro. I'm glad you came on.
Hey, thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it. It's nice to, tell some of the stories. I don't ever really talk about a lot of these things, and I haven't really done much podcasts, so I haven't been able to talk about these things in long form. Maybe people have like ideas from an Instagram here and there or a tweet, but it's pretty pleasant to like come on here and kind of release some of that to the world. So
yeah, man, get your story out even more. We appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely want to have you back on for sure. I know you'll have some stories in the future. I mean, hockey career is definitely not over. It seems like.
No, dude, I'm going to Australia next, boys.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Bar down, off the bar, bar down, cross bar and down, off the bar and down.